All right, I'm going to cut across to all the match excitement that's coming in. In fact, this was possibly the best game and a performance of Team India. Over 400 that they've managed to now put up a fight against the opposition, as we have Nikhil also joining us. Nikhil, this was indeed quite a Diwali celebration for India, as Indian batters there going on a complete rampage at Bengaluru's Chinnaswamy Stadium. 400 odd runs for the team to chase now.
Well, Nabila, you're right. Absolutely. It is, Diwali, and the real fireworks were on display at the Chinnaswamy Stadium with the way the Indian batters came out, all guns blazing. You'd expected that. Bangalore is a place you're familiar with. It's a ground that's known for a lot of runs. It's always a batting paradise. Also with the short boundaries, you tend to get big scores here. And that's the trend that we've seen in this World Cup. Australia got 360 odd in the game that they played here. New Zealand got 401, 400 plus in the game that they played. And Pakistan in that game, had it not been a rain curtailed game, were well on course to be getting 400. So it does seem like that the range between 360, 400 seems to be the par total here at the Chinnaswamy Stadium in Bengaluru. And I think today, with the Indian team up against Netherlands team, taking no credit away from the Dutch, but they are, in comparison to other teams, a step back in terms of, not even having a test status at the moment and coming through qualifiers. So against that Netherlands bowling attack in the conditions that were on offer at the Chinnaswamy Stadium, you always knew that 400 is something that the Indian team would be targeting. And I think that's exactly what they've done. The only thing that folks would be disappointed with was the fact that it was a great chance for Virat Kohli to reach his record-breaking 50th ODI ton. That wasn't to be.
Wow, I mean, who would know this was the kind of chase that India would put up? And you said that they were already expecting and aiming for a good 400, 410. India winning now 8 games. They're pitted against, in fact, they are going to be fighting the semi-finals in about a couple of days from now. And do tell us, this game, how does that really push the morale of the Indian team, given that they're just one match away from winning the World Cup? Keeping our fingers crossed on that.
No, that's very interesting, Nabila, because, a lot of people had looked at this game as a dead rubber because Netherlands are out of contention of the semi-final. India, of course, have qualified for the semi-final. So what is there to gain? And I think that's where you miss out a lot of details. And I think the details are the fact there's plenty to play for. For one, if you notice, the Indian team has made no changes to their playing 11. So if it was a dead rubber, the Indian team could have very well rested a few players, tried a few that have been on the bench, but they haven't done that. What does that signify? That tells you that the team is taking this game very seriously, because this is an opportunity for them to continue the momentum. Now, going into the semi-final, you wouldn't want to have a game which is rather easy or a game where you stutter, because then that can have consequences in the semi-final. Remember, India, as you mentioned, 8 games before this, had won all 8. They'd also want to win the 9th, and they've left no stone unturned by playing their full strength team. And why is that important? One, as I said, they want to keep that winning momentum going into the semi-final. 2, there is a record that Indian team is chasing, the highest by any team. The winning streak is 11, both time achieved by Australia in 2003, 2007. India have the chance to equal that record, because if they are to win this game, it'll be 9 out of 9. And then you're hoping to win the semis and the final. That will make it 11 out of 11. And India would be the only other team other than Australia to do that in a World Cup. So that's the other thing that they would have on their mind. And third, and the most important bit, is that there were a few areas that you would still looking to check, or still a few boxes you were looking to tick. And what were those boxes? Now, your top order in Rohit Sharma, Virat Kohli have been the talk of the town. They've been scoring runs by the plenty, and you know that the Indian team has been doing well basis their performance. Then the Indian bowlers are an envy of the entire cricketing world, because they've been picking up wickets regularly. The only other area where you needed, and even though they'd been doing well, the middle order in KL Rahul, in Shreyas Iyer, or to a certain extent Surya Kumar Yadav, but that's an area that you wanted to see a bit more of. Maybe maybe a bit more confidence. And that's exactly what's happened today. Your two centurions in the game are your two middle order batters in Shreyas Iyer and KL Rahul. And I think that augurs well for the Indian team. Going into a semi-final, if you were to find a situation where, let's say, a Rohit Sharma or a Virat Kohli were not to score runs, you're going in with a batting lineup where everyone else has got a ton, where everyone else has got a lot of runs under their belt. So on a given occasion, you can expect anybody else, and on most occasions, you need one or two batters to come good. So I think what this game has done, and I think the biggest positive that India would take from this game so far, it's still mid-stage, is the fact that KL Rahul and Shreyas Iyer have also got a ton, which means your entire batting order has a lot of runs going into that semi-final. So any one of them on a given day can win you a match.
Is there any chance for Netherlands to really chase this score? 410 is really ambitious, but how's the team Netherlands performing, and their performance so far, how's that been, and is there even a remote possibility that they could catch up?
Well, Nabila, they say never in cricket. It's a funny game. Funnier things have happened. But I think where the game stands right now, you'd have to say that, there's a good 90 to 95% chance that India are going to make it 9 wins out of 9. That's primarily because, once a team sets a total, and an imposing total at that, which India has done, 411 for Netherlands to chase, this is something that they've not done before. So to do it in a World Cup game, it's highly unlikely. The other thing, which I think is going in India's favor and not really in favor of Netherlands, is the fact that the Indian bowling lineup has been in tremendous form. They have made teams like South Africa, like Australia, like Sri Lanka, world-class teams that on occasion can get you 350, can get 400s. They've dismissed them very cheaply, not even allowed some of these teams to even reach the 200 run mark. They dismissed Australia much less. They dismissed South Africa for much less. Sri Lanka did not even reach the 100 run mark against them. So against such proven quality batting side, the Indian bowlers have been all over. In a scenario like that, this Indian bowling lineup in the form that they are, it's highly unlikely that Netherlands, chase this down. I know Netherlands themselves have a lot of motivation because remember, they're at the bottom of the table. For them, a win will mean that they can then qualify for the Champions Trophy in 2025. All top 8 teams qualify. And for them, if they were to win this game, that will push them in the top 8 spot. That is something that they would desperately want. So they'll have the motivation. But, cricketing logic tells you where the game is at the moment. It's highly unlikely that Netherlands chase it down. I think what Indian fans can look forward to is maybe Virat Kohli bowling a few. For the last few games, we've seen, the crowds in the stadium chanting that,
he missed out
Virat
on a
Kohli
century. That was what was expected. Virat Kohli hitting a century, he fell short of that.
He did. And that's what happens. It was perfectly poised for him to get 100. But a left arm spinner, we've seen left arm spinners dismiss him in the past as well. He wanted to do it in Bangalore, which he now calls home. He says this is not his second home, but his home, because he plays for the RCB franchise based out of Bangalore. So that is his home. He would have wanted to get 100 here. He was looking set, and it's seldom does it happen that Virat Kohli goes past the 50-run mark and does not reach his 100. It rarely happens. Today was one of those occasions. I think 120 times he's gone past the 50-run mark, and 49 times he's converted that into 100. So that's a fantastic conversion rate. Wasn't to be today, but as I said, I'm sure they'd be looking forward to some more action from Virat Kohli's part. Maybe a couple of overs here and there if Indian bowlers do give them a good start and pick up a few wickets early. The Indian captain might be tempted to give Virat Kohli a few overs to bowl, and that itself will be a treat for the fans that will come to the stadium.
Lovely. Thanks very much, Nikhil. We're hoping that the match ends soon for the only reason because we're hoping that India wins, and at least in the series of matches in the past, it's over before we know it. India has been on the best of spirits, winning every game so far, and we're wishing them all the luck. I think today is a great day for India as it's also Diwali, so all the prayers going out for them. Thanks very much, Nikhil, for joining us.